I've heard there are rumors of people saying that there was a lost episode of Red vs. Blue that went by the title of Cabooses' Nightmare. Red vs. Blues is a series that went on for a while now, and it's pretty much still on. People now are saying the episode was just a fictional episode and nothing to do, is nothing much but a myth. For a while, people have been following this very specific lost episode of the adult Halo web series made by Bernie Burns since 2003. However, I'm pretty sure it was real. I recalled watching Cabooses' Nightmare. I remember back in 2015, and this was on a chilly Christmas afternoon around 2. We were celebrating Christmas at our grandmother's house. Not only that, but it was my birthday as well. Yes, I was born on the 25th of December. It can be considered a coincidence. You see, I was born at a hospital not too far away. Please note, being birthed on a holiday really isn't anything too special. So what was I saying again? What I got on my birthday was a copy of Halo the Master Chief Collection. I was pretty glad that I got the Master Chief Collection instead of the 5th game, since it was an absolute disappointment. However, I had a new laptop, and the laptop was around a couple $100, which was pretty cheap for some random laptop. I was pretty happy with it, and there I got my laptop. The laptop was purple. It was a Chromebook, which wasn't the type of computer I'm really with, but who cares anyway. I used the computer to watch the series Red vs. Blue. As a Halo fan, I love Red vs. Blue, and it was one of my favorite web series when I grew up. My favorite characters will always be Church and Caboose. Caboose is pretty dumb but entertaining character, and Church is a pretty funny guy. I was a bin watcher back in the day and had many good laughs from the jokes and stuff. One day, my father went to our house for a sleepover. He came from California and has been there since 3 days after I was born. He broke up with my mother, and I hadn't seen him for years now. He came to our house for New Year's Eve and brought in some soda, snacks, and food for the party. I was getting ready to watch Red vs. Blue after that party. We had pizza for dinner. I love pizza. It's one of my favorite foods of all time. After the party, we had to go to bed. However, I wanted to watch Red vs. Blue. I snuck to my laptop and saw something very compelling, if you ask me. Basically, what it was an episode of Red vs. Blue I haven't seen before. The title was called Cabooses' Nightmare. It had a long-running time, which was strange for a Red vs. Blue episode. Looked like the Halo game this episode was made in was Halo 4, which wasn't too long ago during that time. But the problem is, I went back to sleep and saved that episode for later for around tomorrow. I went to bed around 2 in the morning and it didn't feel very ethical. It just feels like I want to watch that episode really badly because I have so many memories with that web series. I had lots of good laughs and jokes and how absolutely funny it truly was. The next morning, we went to McDonald's for breakfast. At that juncture, I had some egg biscuits, but I had the urge to watch that Red vs. Blue episode I always wanted to watch. It's like being very hungry. I should have watched the episode instead of trying hard to sleep. Today was the first day of 2016, and we were actually going to a trip at the carnival just for our New Year's. Please note, I was an introvert, and I did like having company with my family. That day, my father was changing to his Master Chief shirt like a badass. It was pretty cloudy and we got our jackets. There was no snow out due to La Nina. La Nina really sucks and ruins your favorite season. When we arrived at the carnival, I got cotton candy and ate it. Then there was the roller coaster, where it led me back home. When we got to the roller coaster, we perched on the rides and rode off. We were screaming in joy and all happy, but I did gut to watch the episode and I actually threw up during the ride. This wasn't really any fun. We had to go back to our house when I vomited. It wasn't very good at all. It never was. At home, I at least had access to my computer when my parents went to the mall and finally had access to my laptop to watch the supposed lost episode. I typed in my password and went to the webpage of Rooster Teeth to watch Cabooses' Nightmare. I clicked on it, and the episode started as normal. Church and Caboose were writing on the walls. What they wrote were a bunch of dicks. I laughed at that part and continued watching the episode. It continues with Church and Caboose writing for a couple of more seconds until Tex comes in. Tex said that there were a bunch of zealots messing around with their systems. Then there was a scorpion that randomly appeared out of nowhere. "Where did this come from?" said Tex. What was odd is that this was probably a filler episode I have never seen before. I continued watching, and Caboose then hopped onto the tank. Caboose rode and drove very horrible. Caboose then crashes his scorpion and cuts back to Sarge and Griff eating a bowl of spaghetti. They add the sauce, and Sarge randomly screams out "fuck" for no reason at all. Donut came in and said hello. He greeted what seems to be a new character or a minor character. It cuts back to Caboose and, well, shoots Church. The lines, "You killed Church, you team-killing fucktard," came in again, which nodded to another episode with that same line. This brought me back to that funny episode I laughed at years ago. Church then wakes up this time and gets pissed. Like, he gets pissed to this happening all over again, but he cools off within a couple of seconds. The episode cuts to a scene of a rabbit. That's weird because there aren't any animals in Halo 4. This felt like a possible mod added into the episode itself. But who cares anyway, and therefore I continued watching this episode. But the rabbits get shot by a sniper. That was pretty much Sarge. Sarge would say, "All I needed was more food." "We aren't standing here to waste our times of talking and telling those zealots to screw the hell off, Reds." They followed the Sarge's demands and got them all out for some reason by telling them. I wasn't entertained with the full episode, but I still kept watching for the sake of it. Sarge then takes the rabbit to eat along with the Reds. The episode cuts to Church and Caboose locked outside the base, but here's where things caught my eye. Tucker was not present in the episode at all. No signs of him or even mentioning of him whatsoever. This was really strange for a Red versus Blue episode. Church said to Caboose, "Shit, we are locked. We don't have a key to unlock the base door." Caboose responds to Church saying, "I don't know. Tell Tex that she might have a key." Church nodded and told Tex if she had a key. Tex responds with no. Caboose hits his head like he wanted to go in. He uses the skull to knock himself out from hitting his head too hard. Church didn't really care about getting locked. The screen cuts to Caboose laying on the ground for like 30 seconds until it fades out to black for at least a minute. However, the next scene is where things get darker. Because when it cuts back, it wasn't Halo no more. But instead, there was something that gave me deep chills in me. Some sort of pain animated of what appears to be trapped souls from hell, struggling to escape from screaming. They reached their hands up and cried for help. It cuts back to Caboose and Church waking up in a hellish world. What stands to them was a creature that was hunched and had toothpicks as teeth. The thing had toothpicks as claws and toes, owl eyes, and perked up Church and Caboose up to a maze. Church and Caboose are trapped into the maze of the hellish monsters. They had to go through those wicked obstacles to escape the underworld Church and Caboose are trapped in. They can never escape, however. They aren't too good at the maze. The first monster Caboose encounters was a horse with a human head and a lizard tail. The second monster was like some sort of large cockroach that had crocodile legs and fish eyes. The thing talked to Caboose, demanding him water. Caboose ran in fear due to the creature, and it chased him. Caboose hid in fear so he won't get caught by the creature. I assumed he hated cockroaches and was terrified of them. The third monster was a giant baby with calculus-bridged teeth and had claws. It drooled and stood up. He ran to church, and church said when he ran in fear, "Get away from me, you big fucking baby." Then the final monster is what scared me the most. A white beanstalk-shaped body with arms reaching out and looking at Caboose. He let out a screech at Caboose. He had some evil eyes and sharp teeth. He then let out an evil human laugh, which sounded like a villain laughing and screeches even more. He would then pick up Caboose and aid him off screen. The nightmare ended there, and Caboose woke up. The episode ended there. Some really scary shit, but wasn't too fucked up, but rather pretty scary if you ask me. Yes, I do get scared pretty easily, and that's why Halloween is one of my favorite seasons of all time. But something about that episode makes you feel bad for Caboose. He's an innocent person and one of my favorite characters in the web series. It's sad. It's a pretty sad sight to see him in a nightmare-like state, but wait, there's more to it. I looked up in Google on this lost episode of Red vs. Blue and saw some scripts for it. The scripts for this episode added more scenes. I Googled it and saw some stuff I should say. The episode had more scenes of monsters and all that other stuff, but one part of the script actually creeped me out. Apparently there was supposed to be a scene of church walking around, and all of a sudden there was a painting of some sort of figure. The figure had arms, reached at Church, and grabbed him into the painting. This led Church to be stuck inside the painting. Anyway, that's about it for the story of my experience of the lost episode of my favorite web series on the internet. Nowadays, people are claiming it's a fake episode, but I did watch Caboose's Nightmare, and I can't find the episode again. But some people have seen the episode before and trying to find it.